I've made a small box to put a gift into, and I need to cover it. The box was constructed in the normal way, using the little gauge, so that I could make the sides fit and put the sides on top of the panels for the top and the bottom. So I'm going to start by covering the smaller box, smaller part of the box, because this fits together like this. And this is my covering material. So first thing we need to do is mark off 3 heights of the box in 2 directions here. And then I'm going to set the box right at the third of each of those marks and draw around it. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, making 3 at this end. 1, 2, 3. Now, if the box were thicker, I would probably only use 2.5 heights. But because this is such a shallow box, I'm going to use 3 full heights, because I need to have paper that will come onto the top, all the way around, and then onto the bottom here. 1/2 is probably enough, but I'm going to be a little bit generous so that I have a little more paper to work with. Okay, now this gives me the dimensions of the covering material. This I'm going to cut here and here. So what I'll do now is glue out the box. And set it into the rectangle that I drew on the paper. And make sure it's nice and tight. And press the edges down. Now, I'm going to use the triangle here and my Olfa knife, and I'm going to cut out, this is like a little 1/4 inch away, this measurement here on the magic triangle, and cut it out like that, and then also cut this angle this way. This removes a square so that when I bring this paper up, it will wrap around the edge. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side using this 1/4 guide here. Bring it down just to the triangle, and then you can turn it this way and cut directly from the corner. This way we have a symmetrical piece that goes up and will wrap around both of the long sides of the box. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Oops, I did that wrong. Okay, I'll fix it here like this. There. And do that like this. There. That will still stay on, even though I made a little cut, right here. It'll still stay on. So the next thing I'm going to do is bend these back, and then I'll glue out the long sides and put them down. And then wrap these edges around. Now when you go to do these corners, it's a good idea to just crease the whole thing all the way up. That way the paper will release some tension and it will let the little end stay down. Okay. I'm going to glue the little flaps here. Put them down. And then now I'll glue out this side and put the ends down. Okay, the next step is to open these little sides up. So I'm going to take a little triangle here, put this inside the box, like this, and then with my Olfa knife, just put it in here and open up that side. Do the same thing on all four corners. Now, since these are down, I'm going to open up all the seams like this. And then I'm just going to bring these in and just trim them off, because we really don't need these. And you notice I'm just trimming it off on the inside, so there is a little bit on top here. Okay, now just like we did on the slipcase box, we're going to fold these over and finish the inside edges here. Okay, now I'll take the Olfa knife and miter the corners by putting the knife onto the miter, then standing it up and just giving it a little push at a slight angle up like that, so you don't cut into the box. And then we'll open this up, and on the long sides I'm going to take my scissors and cut a thin piece out like this, and then just move my scissors over and cut out the triangle on the top here to finish the miter. Do the same thing on this side, cutting off just the thickness of the board so that when the paper falls in, it falls right in into the piece without folding up. And cut the little miter out here. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Long strip on the long side, and short miters on the short side. Make sure you get all those little triangles out of the way. Now we're going to glue this out and fold it down inside. I have my little towel handy here so that I can wipe my fingers. Push this right around. Wrap this down inside. Looks like we didn't really need to have 3 lengths there. 2.5 probably would have been enough for this one too. Be sure you push the miter right into the corner and push this down. And since I'm going to be putting a little piece of velvet on the bottom here, I'm not worried about any wrinkles in the paper on the bottom. On a larger box, I would probably miter the insides as well, so that the floor stays flat, especially if the box had to be lined with a paper or something very thin. Pushing it down like that. Don't be afraid to use the chisel edge of your folder to push these in and press hard against the table. Okay, we're ready to put these in. So I'll glue out this side. And this side. And press these in place. Standing it up, push it right inside here. Push the miter there. And there, this is almost ready here. You may have to use a sharp bone folder to press things into the corners and make sure everything's down while it's nice and wet. And there we have the covered box. I'm just going to drop a flat panel inside with a little velvet on it because this is for a bracelet. So now we're ready to cover the top.